This is the opportunity to invite our keynote speaker, General, Comrade, Joshua Okayo, youth leader, Okayo, and human rights defender, and today at Inuka's event, civic action champion. Karibu sana.
Asante.
You address this political gathering. It is honor and a pleasure to have you on this occasion. Hey. Hey.
Thank you, Davis, and thank you, Nerima, comrades, leaders, Chief. I didn't know your name is Chief. Your other name? Admiral. Comrades, compatriots, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Joshua Okayo, and I'm happy to be here. I'm blessed to be here. I'm grateful to be amongst all of you. Before I begin my keynote address, it sounds so big. When Khrc reached out to me that I'm going to give this keynote address, I was like, hey, sasa hiyo ndio gani? Okay, I know what it is, but I was like, okay, Khrc is big. I know I have addressed people, I have done some of these things before, but mainly, as you can see, I'm young, unless my face doesn't. Maybe my face is older than I am, but I am young, and so I've engaged with young people. It's easier to engage with young people, speak amongst young people, and just do things that bring us joy and fun. I was saying before I begin, I want to appreciate some people. We have acknowledged very big people who have made serious contributions to the civic space in Kenya for the longest time. We have acknowledged partners who have in one way or another contributed to what we are enjoying now. Because then if we're at a bad place, we have to accept that we are at a better place. And we were at a worse place before, and there are people who actually worked for us to get to this better place. But what we are saying, and that is why we have this launch for this, the strategic plan, is that we can get better than what we have now. And that is why we are here today. And key people who have started that journey and who have probably in one way or another gotten themselves in that journey, knowingly or unknowingly, maybe they liked it or not, are also with us here today. And there are people whom for the longest time, and when we say the longest time, Gen Z's, the longest time is about 2 months, about 2 years. So, and for the longest time, when we go to the streets, natiaga zikaneomba pa, nikiangalia hivi naona Ujiro pale, naona Ujiro anasema, Okayo, wamekuumiza. Comrade Ujiro, salimia watu hivi. Huyo ni mwana mapambano. Na kila wakati nakumbuka there's a time I was hit with a rungu by a police pale CBD. And Ujiro is one of those guys who came and carried me and rushed me to the hospital. Thank you, my comrade. And let's continue doing the work of God. Shakira, I know my rights. I am fighting for me and you and your children. If you saw that video, this is the lady that stood up to police officers and told them that you are hitting us, but we shall stand nonetheless, and we shall continue telling you that this is not the right thing to do. My comrade, I salute you. Thank you. Tatiana, she takes her time to ensure that young people actually get the depth of what we are talking about. Because most of us just watch 2-minute video and we're like, yeah, finance bill, why evil? We're in the streets. You understand? But she has taken her time to make videos on TikTok, and TikTok is a big thing now. And she is teaching people on what is entailed in whatever we are fighting for and we are fighting against. I salute you, my comrade. Comrade Sefu, huyu si mmesikia tu? Art is at the very central of the struggle, and we must appreciate people who are using art to ensure that we continue the struggle. She has a very melodious voice, and every time we are on a march, we always listen to Sefo as she sings some of the songs that we enjoy so much. Na katiba yetu Wakenya, Wakenya, katiba yetu Wakenya, tutekeleze. Na wamama wetu Wakenya, Wakenya, wamama wetu Wakenya, tupite. Na wasichana wetu wasichana wetu wa Kenya, tuwatete. Na vijana wetu wa Kenya, Wakenya, vijana wetu wa Kenya. So in that spirit, as we always sing that we have to fight for our young people and we have to fight for ourselves, we have to protect our women, and we have to fight for the old, and we have to keep our civic space free from these hooligans, she sings. I appreciate you, my comrade. Simba. This gentleman, the brother was killed in last year's protest. And since then, he hasn't found a reason to not go to protests when called upon and when there's a right course to pursue. And he doesn't care the things he's gone through. He doesn't care the pain that he has endured. He doesn't care. He says that I've already felt the pain, it is in the past. But for me or my other brother or other sister or any of these people here not to experience what my brother experienced, I have to be at the forefront and actually fight for a better Kenya. I salute you, comrade. There are very many comrades. I mean, Roland, we've been together. I've seen you on the streets. I've seen you, Cornell, many other people. I saw the Secretary General of the University of Nairobi Student Association, UNSA. Where are you? My brother. This is the gentleman that mobilized students at the University of Nairobi to demand for their results to be released within time so that progression can actually happen in the university. Let's clap for him. And he's also one of those people who, even as we organize those of us who have completed university, they always try to mobilize those at the universities because Gen Zs are also in the universities and outside universities. So he has played that role, and I know he has some of the many comrades with him. We appreciate you and continue doing the Lord's work. I am recognizing, and Comrade Lumwachi, sorry, I was about to forget. Comrade Lumwachi, she always shows up. She shows up. You know what it means to show up? If you know what it means, you know. No. If you know what it means to show up, it means this comrade, you can call her at 9 in the night. That Ojiro has been arrested, and she will come out and she will say, let us go to Central, or wherever it is he's been taken.
I confirm.
You confirm? You confirm? Thank you. There is a comrade here. She's looking behind. Comrade Charlotte. She calls herself Charlotte Kutment. Check her on your socials. This comrade here is also doing an amazing work in civic education and political engagement.
Yeah.
We appreciate you for that. I would rather take 90% of my time appreciating things, my fellow young people, and not say anything else than just come here and blab and go and sit. Because what we are launching today gives priority to these young people who are the future. Because we are talking about consolidating people's sovereign power to claim rights and freedoms. And I was told to talk specifically about shaping the future. What rights look like in the future from the lenses of the strategic plan that we're launching today. And that is why I'm here, and that is why I needed to talk about these young people. Finally, not finally, I have two more people, I'm sorry. Comrade Nerima. Comrade Nerima, you know what you do. I remember there's a time some of us were organizing something. And you know, as young people, some of us are very impatient. And so we get to so many disagreements. We disagree a lot. This comrade here, is always our mediator. Kitchen cabinet. The people we call Mother Hen. Ojiro, you remember Mother Hen? Nanyuki, Mother Hen. Kitchen cabinet. Comrade, we appreciate you. And you don't want to know the amount of facilitations she has done for individuals here to be able to even get to where we are going. We appreciate you and thank you. May God bless you. Viva. Now finally, I want to appreciate Comrade Magawi Maxwell. This comrade seated here. This gentleman has been working with the Students' Caucus and ensuring that in every conversation, as we try to organize manenos, we have students at the universities and all tertiary institutions actually involved in conversations, and that their part is also felt. They are not just, Tatiana, what did you say?
They are not counted.
They're not just counted, but they actually count. That is what this gentleman is doing. We appreciate you. God bless you and continue doing what you're doing. So, the Khrc strategic plan 2025-2035 puts the young people at the very center and says that we are looking at 10 years from now. And I'm happy people have touched about elections. We have 2 electioneering periods, and we even have a by-election in November. So we can say there are 3. And I'm happier that Khrc is not only promising, but has actually started to walk the talk by inviting one of the very youngest people in this room to deliver a keynote address. Can we clap for them? They are not only promising that, look, we are going to do this and that and that, we are going to do this road. Many of us are used to promises because we want to hear big things that excite us. But we are actually not interested to see the very basic steps that people are taking to ensure that those big plans are achieved. Khrc has called on young people today. A majority of the speakers who have spoken here today are young people. True or true? True or true? That is what we call walking the talk. They are not waiting to start implementing this strategic plan after the launch, after the mega launch, which we are waiting for. They have actually started implementing the strategic plan before. Who does that? Khrc. Who does that? Who does that? Viva Khrc, viva! Viva Khrc, viva! And so it gladdens my heart that as young people we find a space today where we can call home, and a space where we can converge and have our conspiracies conspire, as Ojiro says, every time. And even as we build movements moving forward, I am happy that they've declared this open an open space that we can come and conspire. Ojiro viva. All right? And so I request that even as I give you all the praises which you deserve, that I also request that you make the entrance to this place a bit more easier and accessible to the young people. Now that you said you're making this a young people-centered plan.
Oh, yes.
Last year, you could see young people, and even not just young people, even the old, even the people who have danced here. I can tell you. Okay, the former Gen Zs. Comrade Boaz Waruku is saying yes, yes. Amesema yes, yes mingi pale. Kama umjui ndo yule. Yes, thank you. I was the president of the Student Governing Council at the Kenya School of Law last year. And Comrade Boaz Waruku was one of my constituents. And this is one of the very people who always called me and asked me how things are going. And I think there's a time, Comrade, we have planned for tea for the longest time. I hope we are going to have it. So in short, I say there are some of these people that touch our lives in our very basic, sports, but maybe we don't get to recognize them a lot. Let me give you a fun fact. When we were singing on the streets and dancing and saying, Zazana toa roho yangu, iende kukomboa inchi, Zazana toa roho yangu, iende kukomboa. Sasa natoa roho, iende kukomboa. Sasa natoa roho yangu, iende kukomboa. Sasa natoa roho ya, iende kukomboa. Sasa natoa roho yangu, iende kukomboa nchi. Na Rex alitoa roho yake, iende kukomboa nchi. Na Rex alitoa roho yake, iende kukomboa. Sasa natoa roho yangu, iende kukomboa. Sasa natoa roho yangu, iende. As we were touring our roho, people like Maina Kiai, people like all these people who have spoken here, Cornelius, Nerima, many of these people were sitting somewhere discussing how to support what is going on. Many of these people were actually supporting you in the background, and we may not have known. I have gotten the light to know. You should also know as a fellow young person. And so it means these are our comrades who have been with us through the journey. And they have not only been with us from last year to this year, but they've been with Kenyans of goodwill who have fought for freedom and have fought for the civic space for the longest time. Because if you look at the history of KHRC from, when Shakira was born, because she said she's an age mate to KHRC, there are so many other things that have happened in Kenya, and if you read deeply and read between the lines, you get to know that KHRC has been at the very center in ensuring that the civic space in Kenya does not shrink to its death. Talk about 1992, which I think sparked the beginning of KHRC and the need to have a human rights commission. 1990. But even if it is 1990, let me get you back a little bit. 1988. The Mlolongo voting system. Moi said that you are not going to cast your vote, and so you are going to stand behind a candidate. Ulichapwa. Oh my goodness, pole sana. And so they said you can only qualify to the final elections if you have, that is now primaries, if you have 50% of the votes in the primaries. And anyone who gets 70% of votes in the primaries is declared a winner. So you don't have to get to the final elections. Is that democracy? Is that democracy? Where an individual decides for you what has to be done. An individual decides for millions of Kenyans what has to be done. And we still have that kind of authoritarianism even in our recent times. In 1990, KHRC participated in the struggle for deletion of Section 2A. The infamous Section 2A, ilikuwa inasema there's only one single party. And that party is what? KANU. People had already started fighting for a better civic space, for a more open and free and democratic civic space. And these are the very people who are actually fighting at that time. Elections happened. They contributed. They oversaw elections and reported on human rights violations. They documented, which is very important, and it's one of your strategic pillars that this strategic plan is talking about, documentation. It is very important because should we not document what is happening right now, our children and future children and our children's children will never forgive us for erasing the history of our country. There must be something to inspire the future generations. There must be something to make the future generations fight for something better. Because if they don't get to see what is happening now or what happened last year, they will not have a reason to know what is worse. And so they would think they are at the right time, or that the right space, sorry. all these things accumulated, and it was a journey, and this should be understood very greatly by my fellow Gen Zs, that sometimes it doesn't take just a day, or 2 days, or a month, or a year, or 2 years, or 5 years, or sometimes maybe 10 years. It might take longer, but ultimately, it will be achieved. And the continued effort and contributions and documentation and conversations and all that by these very people enabled us to have the constitution that we are celebrating very greatly today. And we are proudly saying in our international platforms that, you know, Kenya has one of the most progressive constitutions in the world. There are people who stood up for something, and there are people who came out and said something must be done. Last year, and I've appreciated you, my comrades, people stood up again and said, we are going to finish the job. Kidogo tu tulikuwa tunamaliza hiyo kazi, kidogo. Kidogo tulikuwa tunamaliza hiyo kazi. But what we are saying is that we did not finish. But the job must be done, Sidio? At the end of the day, the job must be done. And job can only be done if we prepare for the future. And that is why we are launching a strategic plan to cover from 2025 to 2035, because we are seeing that future. I met a friend of mine yesterday, a postdoctoral researcher from Nigeria. He works with the media. And he was telling me, you know, many of us researchers are in Kenya now. We know what is happening in Madagascar. We know what happened in Nepal. We know what happened in Morocco. What is happening in Morocco? We know all that. We know what happened in Philippines. But we are here. Why? Because we want to know, why did it start in Kenya? Why Kenya? And Kenya is very important. And there's a lot of interest. And there's a lot of focus in Kenya. And it worries us, now I'm reporting, if you're still with me, it worries us that the young people of Kenya, it's like they have stopped, or they're kind of stopping what they started. And we believe that it's such struggles that contributed to even, the decolonization of Africa. And that we must decolonize ourselves from the black colonizer. And that is why we are coming to Kenya to learn. And we would want you people to continue organizing and mobilizing. And I told him, my brother, you may feel or see like nothing is happening in Kenya right now. But first of all, at least you are here. So something is happening. You would not be coming to record nothing. Secondly, we are just in a calm before a storm. And very soon, very soon, very soon, very soon. Thank you. Mungu anasaidia. And this is why I was telling the story of my friend. He said, myself and many other researchers that we work with, we are looking at Africa in the next, we are looking at the Africa in 2063. It means we are planning 2063 minus 63 minus 25 is about 28, right? 28, yes. So we are looking at Africa in the next 28 years. And someone said here, people like China look at themselves in the next 50 or so years. He told me Finland has a plan for 2150. Do you know what that means? That's 125 years from now. They already know, they're already planning on how they want Finland to be 125 years from now. What about us? Raila amesema, sorry. But I mean, it's reality. We are just there. Amesema nini? Ame-endorse nani 27th November. Huyo ako sawa. You understand? That is what we say. Hey, former president ame-endorse nani. Huyo ako sawa. We are looking at 2 months from now, 1 month actually. We are looking at 2 years from now, the next election. That is our interest. We are looking at who is going to beat who in the next elections. But we are not looking at how are we going to ensure that we claim our fundamental freedoms and rights. How are we going to ensure that the Kenya of tomorrow is a free space where you and I can speak freely? Where a young person like you and I can create a video and go viral on TikTok and no one will be following you. Where you will be able to stand on the street and stand against police brutality and no one will come and abduct you. Where you will be able to write an article and they will not use, some very bad cybercrimes act to arrest you and charge you in a court of law. Where young people will be able to go to the streets and protest and they are not arrested and charged with terrorism. We are looking at a Kenya where people will not be arrested for just going to the streets to protest. We are looking at a Kenya where young people will be able to write petitions and public offices and officers, and no one will follow them after. We are looking at a country where the media will be able to speak and report exactly what is happening on the ground, and no one will close them down. We are looking at a country where civic education will be taught in schools and no president or prime minister or anyone would be able to stop that because it would be the will of the people and the aspirations of the people of Kenya. We are looking at a country where health facilities will be free and everyone will be able to afford health care. We are looking at a country where education will not be a question of should we or should we not allocate funds. We are looking at a Kenya where systems work. And these strategic plans opines, and I support that is doable and it is achievable, it is possible. If we all bring our heads together, all hands on deck, roll our sleeves high and say we are getting to the ground, we have to do this, all of us together. We are looking at a Kenya where an MP, governor, whoever it is, would be able to wait on the traffic jam because they are costly. They have power to create more roads and build something that can help us decongest our towns, but they're not doing it. So we are looking at a Kenya where they'll be able to wait on those traffic jams or give us something better that will ensure Nairobi has no traffic jam. That is the Kenya we are looking for. And that is the Kenya Khrc is saying today that we are ready to fight for and we are ready to work with the young people because they are at the center of what we are doing to achieve that Kenya. We are looking forward to a Kenya, and this is what we are working for actually. We're not just looking for, we are working for a Kenya where young people will have something to do. And young people will not be saying very painful statements like some I heard on the streets last year. Someone said, I have nothing to lose but my miserable life. Imagine when a young person says that I have nothing to lose but my miserable life. It means this person lives a life that he or she would rather die than live. And they are willing to put their life on the line to even die for a cause they are fighting for. And I love the strategic plans that Khrc has to ensure that Kenya, and a free Kenya where everyone is able to speak and all those things I've mentioned are able to be achieved. They have enumerated them there. And they are saying we have to embrace digital political communication. Let me tell you, Kina Charlotte Kutment, Tatiana, and many other people are currently hosting TikTok lives. Did you even know that we have a TikTok code? Cornelius, Comrade Cornelius, do you know we have a TikTok code? Do you know? Yes, we have a TikTok code. And we have a judge, magistrate. The first person to be called a magistrate without qualifications. And we have advocates. and witnesses. And there's a lot of prosecution going on TikTok. It is very possible. There's a time we will call the courts and tell them, bring your court to TikTok. Because that is where we are more comfortable with. Utadu. We have people who are consistently hosting Twitter spaces. Oh, now it's X. X spaces. And the conversations are continuing. But you know what? They have fragments of groups everywhere, doing almost the same thing, fighting for the same cause. But there is no particular way in which, even if we do it, in a fragmented way, we know we are together and we are interconnected. Now, that is something that KHRC is looking at through this strategic plan. And we hope that just like you started today with a bang, it's not only going to remain a promise, but you'll actually actualize that which you promised. We have people coming together to contribute for fellow comrades and saying that someone is in distress. Someone, Baba Yake, there's a young guy whose father suffered a stroke. And people, the TikTokers, turned up in large numbers and said, we are going to contribute for our fellow so that the father can be treated. That kind of camaraderie, that kind of solidarity is what we are looking forward to see. And we hope that KHRC will be at the center of ensuring that we have that solidarity across the country and across the region, now that you've been told that you need to have a regional office. Young people want to support ethical leaders for public offices. But they go to the ground and they are asked, how much do you have? Civic education, political engagement. It's at the very core. And we hope that those of us who have volunteered to do this, KHRC will come and walk with us hand in hand and, lift us high and walk with us to the grassroots and introduce us to your networks, because I see you have more than 30 networks across the 30 counties in Kenya. That is enough to ensure that we do serious grassroots mobilization so that we phase out this kind of leadership we've had for 20, 30, 40 years. That is the Kenya we are looking at. And we hope that we're going to have many more mediators like Nerima. And that we shall be coming to that boardroom. Na mimi nakaa nasema mimi Shakira alinikosea, na Shakira anasema hata wewe ulinikosea, na tunasukumana na tunapointiana fingers, and then when we come out of that door, we are happy and we are saying we are going to walk together. That is what the young people are looking for. That is what the young people are looking for. And so many things can be said. But one thing that remains certain is that much as the team from KHRC worked on this strategic plan, and I applaud you so much for working on this plan. Much as the team worked on this strategic plan, it does not only belong to them now. This launch is not only a launch, but actually a declaration that now this is the plan for the Kenyans moving forward. Take it up and work with it. So if you are a lawyer, litigate fearlessly. Teachers, teach with compassion. And parents, raise children respectfully. Youth, let's organize relentlessly and courageously and work together to achieve a Kenya that we have never seen before. Because we are capable, we are doing the right thing, we are pursuing a just cause, and when the cause is just, conquer we must. God bless you.
views on board.
Okayo, only so.